Hi, this is Matata James and you're watching Joburg Today.
The Council of the City of Johannesburg met last week on Wednesday and Thursday to deliberate on a number of important items on the agenda that would impact on service delivery. On Wednesday, progress was slow when the ANC walked out and the EFF was absent. However, on Thursday, the EFF did show up and voted with the coalition-led administration to pass Herman Mashaba's institutional review. These kind of disruptions in council are not unusual given that no party has a clear majority to pass resolutions. Here's a look back in particular of proceedings on Wednesday. The council chambers in Johannesburg were half empty today. EFF members were not present. Usually there's no telling exactly what time the sitting will end. However, today, the ANC decided to walk out and the meeting ended abruptly. Today's council meeting was brief. It was adjourned shortly after lunch, following a decision taken by the Speaker of the House, Mr. Vasco da Gama. The ANC felt that they were being undermined and are constantly being undermined by this council. The EFF was not present. We decided to speak to the respective parties to gain a better understanding of why they felt they were being undermined, and we also got a response from the Mayor himself.
The second report tabled in council today was around the process of IDP consultations and adoption. So it's a report that's supposed to be approved by council, and that report must be done at least 10 months before the beginning of the next financial year. Now 10 months was in August. So in August the meeting did not correct because they withdrew some of the reports. Yes, this one they did not withdraw, but we wanted to deal with the composite of all reports. So we decided to say, look, if ever you're going to disrespect us, we sit in caucuses and deal with all reports the whole day. And then you come and withdraw some of them, then for us it's not working. It's something that is not working. So today, they bring the same report like last time. Now, we stood as the ANC and said, but guys, what are you doing? Because this thing is late. Surely, you should bring them a reason why it's late and ask for an extension from the province. Then they stand up and say, no, we've done that. That's when we ask for a caucus to say, what do we do? Because we want to see that letter. We can't approve. You can't condone something if you don't know they've done the rules. They said they did it. So therefore, when we come back and they bring us the letter, they then bring the letter that, no, sorry, the letter was not sent. So we felt completely undermined by them. They lie to council, they mislead council, they're running this municipality on the basis of untruths, and that's not sustainable. So the ANC felt completely undermined by somebody who switches on and on. Even last time, he said it's their prerogative to do things. So they're disrespecting us. Overall,
the ANC's issue is the manner in which reports are presented to them in council. They feel there is no proper procedure being followed.
Yes. They don't present to council the way it should be presented to council, the things that should be presented to council. They don't bring policies, they make pronouncements that are council preserve. They disrespect the rules, and then they go to court and say we must stick to the rules. Which is why we've lost confidence on the mayor. It's exactly these things that we've lost confidence in the mayor and the speaker. This issue was just a demonstration on why we lost confidence in the mayor, because he simply cannot cut it.
On the point of losing confidence in the mayor, yesterday the South Gauteng High Court held that the ANC's urgent application to table a motion of no confidence against the Speaker of the House and the mayor by secret ballot lacked urgency. The court struck the ANC's application from the roll and awarded punitive costs in favour of the city.
Well, our urgent application was around the rationality of the programming committee to reject the motion. We thought the motion would be rejected in council, not the motion rejected in programming committee. So what we then did was to say to court, look, can you review the reasons given by the speaker? Because you want the motion to be tabled today. That's how it was urgent. But in their replying papers, they offered us to table the motion in November in the next meeting. So on those bases, the judge says, but you have a remedy. The remedy is in 2 months. You won't die in 2 months. So the matter is not urgent. So we accept we thought we put up a case, and we thought that maybe the judiciary, because it was one judge and the issues were quite complex and constitutional, we're still going to test the matter on what the programming committee can and can't do. We're still taking it forward, but the motion of no confidence is coming. Closed or secret, open ballot or closed ballot, it doesn't matter.
The new coalition administration of the city of Johannesburg is currently being challenged. We caught up with Johannesburg's Mayor Herman Mashaba to understand these ongoing challenges and disruptions in council meetings from his perspective.
Well, I think it's unfortunate that ANC is determined to use every available tool to them to collapse this government. Unfortunately, they tried yesterday and they lost, and they had to find another excuse. I mean, if you look at the report that they rejected, the report that allows us as government, we can start the IDP process to consult with our people so that when we start formulating our 2018-2019 budget, we've got the input of society. For something like this to get the ANC to walk out of council, I think they're just taking advantage in the sense that EFF is not here. And I can only personally make an appeal to the EFF to realize, because they're the ones who took a decision last year that they will vote with us on important matters. And with them not being around, ANC is taking advantage of the situation, making us vulnerable. Because from the beginning, the outcome of the results of last year would not allow us to do certain things on our own. We need our coalition partners and the EFF to be able to serve the people of Johannesburg. So I'm really just making a special appeal to EFF to understand that ANC is determined through whatever means to collapse this government. Even the courts yesterday proved to them that they were wrong. Now they're trying other tricks, which is very unfortunate.
We asked the mayor why the EFF was not present today.
Well, I think we'll have to really get to understand from them as to why they're not here, because as you are aware, they were here earlier on and decided to move away, knowing very well that we've got a very, very important council meeting to be able to allow government to really carry on. But obviously, as you are aware, there are national issues that EFF is concerned about with all the coalition arrangements all over the country. But ultimately, one thing that they've got to understand, that history is going to judge all of us, all these failures, because the biggest casualties of this are our poor South Africans, our poor members of the community who are today without jobs, who are today without accommodation, who are today without hope and pride. And ANC, as we are aware, they are determined to collapse us, whatever means available to them. So EFF, you took the decision to work with us. And for me, I believe it is your responsibility to ensure that you attend council meetings. When there are issues that you want to engage with us, please engage with us. Please don't involve the city of Johannesburg with national matters.
Here is what other council members felt about today's adjournment.
Whilst the ANC was arguing their point and saying that they are walking out, the Speaker announced so quickly that he's adjourning council that some of us did not even hear that, because our hands were up and we wanted to speak on the issue, and it's really becoming annoying. Because every time the EFF is not in council, things get withdrawn, nothing happens, special councils are called, EFF is not there, they cannot correct, and we cannot be held at ransom, because we believe for now that the people outside there needs to be serviced. And if they are not going to be serviced because of people that cannot run the city, AIC wants it on record, we did not walk out with the ANC. The ANC and DA rather seem to have walked out together today.
Well, what's concerning to me and also on behalf of our party is the fact that in our previous council meeting, which was held on the 31st of August, approximately about 14 items were withdrawn with no reason. And we just felt that, in fact, the Patriotic Alliance expressly made mention of the fact that we cannot be undermined in this way. Where we don't even receive reason for these items being withdrawn.
I think it's the right of any political party to challenge a particular decision. But at the end of the day, sanity must prevail, in the sense that we've got all a responsibility. And the responsibility is we went with a manifesto to the voters to ask them for their support. They've given us that support and they've decided as to how council should look like. And unfortunately or fortunately, the coalition is in charge of the city of Johannesburg, and obviously they do things the way that they best know to do it. And it would be disingenuous for political parties at this stage to ask for the head of not only myself but also of the mayor. After having served 1 year and let's say 2 months in this administration, trying to rectify what went wrong in the past and not have the support of all political parties, because it's in their interest to serve their communities in the best way that they can. And where does that happen? It happens in debate within council. And unfortunately, if you don't allow the debate to happen, the agendas and the items within it to be approved so that you are able to deliver that service delivery, we're all going to suffer. So my advice to political parties is that they must put their heads together, ensure that the council proceedings continue in a way that is acceptable and where we are able to take decisions at the end of the day. The political parties that complained that I didn't give them time, unfortunately, the ANC indicated that they would want to walk out for the day. I then gave the opportunity for us to meet again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock to ensure that we continue the good work that the city must do.
Nushina Mohammed for Joburg Today.
I'm Zonile Ngubeni and you're watching Joburg Today.
To gain a wider perspective from an independent observer of urban governance on the political dynamics in the Metro of Johannesburg, I chatted to Danga Mugogo, the program manager for governance of the South African Cities Network.
From my perspective, I think I look at politics very much as a sort of a tactical game. So we can get very caught up in issues that are happening on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis. And as you know, there's that truism that people say that a week is a lifetime in politics. But I think what is very interesting from our perspective as Cities Network, from myself as a governance researcher, is what does this imply for the institution itself? So the council represents a particular institution within the governance structure of the city. And the question is, does the politicking within the council affect the ability of the city, the administration, so the governance structures in terms of the administrative structures of the city to get their job done?
Sure, and this is the question we would like to be answered, which is why we brought you in to share that with us. But are we seeing, coming back to the events of last week, the EFF holding the rest of council ransom in terms of what happened at Nelson Mandela Bay, the decision taken at the national level? Are we seeing that tactical approach play out here, where issues at a national level concerning the EFF and the DEA are impacting at a metro level?
I mean, I think I'm not an EFF strategist. I'm not in their policy group, so I can't necessarily say what that is. They have stated that is their policy to extend a national decision, as you've said, based on developments in Nelson Mandela Bay to the city of Johannesburg. That's a choice they have the right to make. I think what's interesting in that is that it shows that as the separation between the parties, as there's been a differentiation both at the national level and now the local government level since August of 2016, it's producing an interesting interplay of dynamics. So as you get cities, in the past it was Cape Town, which was controlled by the opposition. Now you have Nelson Mandela Bay, you have Tshwane, you have the city of Johannesburg, which we're talking about today. And so parties which have, as the EFF is doing now, will perhaps take actions based on experiences in other cities.
Given that the EFF is noted as the kingmaker in the Metro of Johannesburg, do you think that the ANC's concerns about being undermined are valid, as well as some of their opposition alliance partners?
I mean, that's a good question. And I think if you were to ask the ANC, of course, that's their position. But to put it within a broader context, I think that's the typical feeling of parties that are in opposition in any political system, in any society, whether it's at the national level or the local government level, as we're seeing now. So it's a natural for the ANC to, in fact, feel that way, that they're being undermined. And once again, this goes back to the question of politics. That's a political statement. In terms of the jockeying for power between these two parties. And in fact, it's what you would expect them to say publicly.
Do you think, given this political play we are witnessing play out at a metro level, in terms of that, do you think that decision making is slower? That how is this impacting in the manner in which the city is being run, from an urban governance perspective?
Well, I mean, it's a new thing that we're getting used to. I mean, you can look at it clearly. It's different from what happened before. So prior to the local government elections last time, of course, things happened a lot quicker because you have a party that's in control of the council and are able to win votes on that basis. So of course the system is going to work slower now because there's a lot more negotiation that needs to take place, both within the group of parties who are voting together, and then also in negotiations with the opposition, because government does actually involve both the opposition and the party that's in government. The question is what impact, and what my concern is, what impact does that have on the running of the city itself? And when I say the running of the city itself, I say providing the services that the citizens require. So the question is, and when I would start to get worried, is if you indeed have a gridlock that then affects service delivery in a major way.
Is it counterproductive, in other words,
Precisely.
for service delivery?
Yes, exactly. So to the extent that contestation, that arguments within council or deadlock in the council affects the actual administration of the city, that is a problem. So with the case of the city budget, that wasn't. So in May, the budget was actually passed. So had a budget not been passed, and let's say we were still a few months later looking at a budget not being passed because of a similar sort of impasse, that would have been a cause for concern. So it's when those kind of bigger issues come out of political contestation that, as a governance person, I would begin to be concerned.
Hello, my name is Michaela Russell and you're watching Joburg Today.
Well, on day 2 of the recent City Council meeting, Mayor Herman Mashaba reiterated the important role that the EFF is playing in voting on issues with the DA-led administration.
I've said from day one, I've got a lot of respect for the EFF. Firstly, for the decision to take ANC looting out of the country, to dislodge ANC. And they gave us the commitment that they will vote with us on an issue-by-issue basis. They said to us, we will never allow ANC to take over the city of Johannesburg. Yes, from time to time, they have the right to disagree with us at local level, at provincial or national level, and it is a right. But one thing that I have a lot of respect for them, when it comes to the future of the country, when it comes to issues that matter. What they realized yesterday, ANC abusing us, it came to their attention and they decided to send their people here to ensure that they can allow us as a new administration to be able to carry on with our service delivery agenda that we promised.
The mood was conciliatory. Councillors applied themselves to the items on the agenda. However, the ANC left early to attend a memorial service and was therefore not in attendance for most part of the meeting.
I think today, this week in particular, was one of my best weeks, starting with that court case of motion of no confidence. Having 2 days of council meeting, the first day ANC disrupting us, and really so glad that EFF realized their importance, because without EFF, us as a new government, we cannot operate. And I think EFF guys to be here today was great. Managing to pass what was it, 94 something items, but 2 very important items for me. The first one is the institutional review. Now council has given me the opportunity now to put together the type of government that can serve the people of Johannesburg. What great news. Now the changes that people voted for on the 3rd of August is going to become reality. Secondly, and also very most importantly, you remember I've always said to people of this country that I want to turn the city of Johannesburg into a construction site. The last few months, our group forensics have been doing raids in the inner city, doing profiling of these houses, and we immediately, in the process, identified 85 hijacked buildings that we can offer to the private sector. Now, obviously, I did not want to start with all of them at the same time, so I started with 12 properties that now council has given me the permission to offer them to the private sector to work with us. And the conditions of us offering these properties to the private sector is that please tell us how much money you're going to invest. We are happy to give you the property, but please tell us how much money you are going to invest. Please tell us how many units you're going to build. Please tell us what type of rentals you're going to charge, because we have said we want affordable accommodation for our people. Please tell us during the construction site how many people you're going to employ. Please give us your artisan programs, because we want, as part of the construction in this period, where we can train our people so that in 10, 15 years down the line we can have professional electricians, plumbers and so forth. Please tell us post the construction how many people you're going to employ. So this is not just really, it's a comprehensive plan to kickstart the economic recovery of our city. We're starting the program where we can produce affordable accommodation for our people and the students who are here in the city of Johannesburg. It's a program comprising artisan training program. It's a program to bring in billions of investments in the city of Johannesburg. That dream of turning the city of Johannesburg into a construction site, Council has now given me the permission. So next week already you will see massive advertising asking for proposals from the private sector.